The governor of Texas, Republican Greg Abbott, said there are at least 161 people known to be missing in Kerr County alone. We previously had been told that the number was closer to 20 for Texas as a whole, but now we're being told 161 missing. The governor vowed that each person missing will be found.
We will not stop until every missing person is accounted for. Know this also. There very likely could be more added to that list.
This shocking news that the toll of those missing is much higher than previously thought, at least 8 times higher, comes as the death toll of those confirmed lost in the flood also continues to grow. At least 109 people, 30 of them children, have been confirmed dead. We are learning more about the victims. Some of them include Anna Margaret Bellows. She was only 8 years old. She's among the victims from Camp Mystic. Another 8-year-old Mystic camper, Lenny McCown, the Austin American-Statesman, published a statement from their father saying his daughter, quote, filled our hearts with so much joy we cannot begin to explain. 8-year-old Mystic campers Hannah and Rebecca Lawrence are also on this grim list. Their parents say they were twins who, quote, shared a bond only twins could understand. Also lost Odessa police officer Bailey Martin. Odessa Police Department saying that Martin was on a trip with his family to the Guadalupe River near Kerrville, Texas, for the 4th of July holiday weekend. These families, along with so many others, are going through unimaginable pain and grief. Meanwhile, some officials in Texas are facing some serious questions about preparedness and whether they acted on any flood prevention measures in this region referred to in Texas as Flash Flood Alley, in this area where flash flood killed 10 campers in 1987. Today, the Lieutenant Governor of Texas, Dan Patrick, says flood warning sirens could well have saved lives.
But the city can't afford it, then the state will step up, and we need to have these in place by the next summer. We've had flash floods before, nothing like this, but had they heard those sirens screaming out loud, maybe that would have made them get out of their trailers or their tents and climb to safety.
We will dive into why such sirens were not installed in hard-hit Kerr County, where as of now nearly 90 people have been confirmed dead. Despite sensible, logical questions about what could have been done better and where blame may lie for this tragedy being as bad as it has been, the Texas governor just minutes ago suggested that asking who's to blame is, quote, the language of losers. And the governor compared this to a football game and a football quarterback who promises to do better next time instead of pointing the finger of blame. I assure our viewers that we do not think that questioning officials in the Texas government about warnings that were unheeded and advice from experts that was not taken, we do not think that's the language of losers. We think it is the duty of accountability and a responsibility of all of us after such a horrific tragedy. Let's go straight to CNN's Isabel Rosales in Kerrville, Texas. And Isabel, we just heard from Governor Abbott that there are now 161 known people to be missing just in Kerr County.
Right, Jake. I am in Center Point, which is in Kerr County, and by far this has been the most devastated county through this flash flood incident. I mean, you're talking about over 80 people that have died here in Kerr County alone. So this figure has been incredibly important. This is a figure, the number of missing, that reporters, community members have been asking for since this occurred on July the 4th, every single press conference, to try to get an understanding of what volunteers like this and first responders are looking for. How many people are they out scouring the Guadalupe River to try to find? So far, we've only had really an understanding of Camp Mystic, the counselors and the campers there, that number, and now we're seeing it jump from over 20 to 161 known to be missing here in Kerr County. So this is an important figure to try to for us and the community to try to get an understanding of how many people still are out there that need to be answers need to be given to their loved ones. And of course, we heard the question from a reporter there asking the governor, who is to blame here for this loss of life and the lack of warning in the Texas floods? And as you mentioned, he says, you know, this is the talk of losers. We don't do that in Texas. Giving an analogy of football here, that the winning team focuses on solutions and not on a blame game. Jake.
Isabel, we'll touch on that in a second, but CNN has some brand new reporting involving Camp Mystic, the site of so much loss. Tell us more.
Right. So CNN just obtained new records that show that 2 days before these deadly floods, a state inspector was actually on site at Camp Mystic and certified that the camp had an emergency plan in place, a plan that was posted there at Camp Mystic for counselors and campers to take a look at. He also certified that all the cabins and all the buildings were safe. This would have included the Bubble Inn, where most of those youngest of campers were staying. That building that was devastated, we saw images of the walls just being busted through. It was very, very close to the river there. On July 2nd, that inspector of the Texas Department of State and Health Services also confirmed that Camp Mystic had a state-mandated plan for, quote, emergency shelter and for evacuation in case of an emergency. So in light of this report, in light of all of this, it's raising questions on whether that disaster plan was adequate and whether it was followed in this moment of an emergency through all of this flooding. Now, we did reach out to the state health department. A spokesperson told us that they do not maintain copies of these emergency plans, but every single time that they do an annual inspection, they go on site and they review that, and that the plan, Jake, would include what to do in the case of flooding. Now, we did reach out to Camp Mystic. They didn't respond to CNN's phone calls or emails about this report. But we do want to note that counselors did, in those moments, according to witness accounts, go and help those campers get to higher ground. But as we saw, the waters rose so quickly that for many of them, there simply wasn't enough time to get out of danger. We also, CNN spoke to a camp counselor there at Camp Mystic, who says that there was a power outage at 4 in the morning. So that would have meant that the PA system announcing an emergency wouldn't have been operational. She also told CNN that per policy, phones were not allowed for camp counselors or the campers there. So that would have meant that they wouldn't have received those emergency alerts from the National Weather Service either, indicating a total lack of communication, a lack of a blackout. It's not clear here if that emergency plan for Camp Mystic would have included what to do in the case of not having communication, Jake.